Now, again, I'm continuing to warn that the Bollinger Bands are tightening up on Bitcoin. I think we're going to end up dropping below the lower band here to create a bottom, okay? And in an ABC move. If you watch the video all the way through, you'll see what I'm talking about. But this is telling us something's about to happen. And again, we're going sideways. This is looking at the swing move right here. We're going sideways, okay? We're not going down like we were, having it be the little orange line right here, dropping. It's going sideways. So I think you're in a bottoming process. I think you're going to dip below the lower Bollinger Band in all likelihood and get our higher low. When we had the tightening of the bands right here, this sell-off occurred. We tried to rally up and it failed, and we had that big drop. Here we're having a drop down, and I think you're going to get this move in the other direction. When we had the tightening of the bands here, we pushed up and made a new all-time high. But then we topped out, and the tightening of the bands here gave us this first initial sell-off. You had the tightening bands going into that high. I think this is going to be the tightening of the bands to give us a reversal. Then I think we're going to see all my signals begin to flip back to bullish and end up turning back up. They will get above 90,000 again. I think we will get above 100,000, and I think then they will go and challenge the new highs. Watch the video all the way through. You'll see my Elliott wave count. But I believe Bitcoin is completing a bottoming process. I think that bottoming process will be a higher low. I think we've already bottomed over here, as I've said, with the divergences. And again, I think that was completing of wave 4. Now I think we're getting wave 5. You'll see that. I'm updating my Elliott wave count for you in this video. Watch the video all the way through. Now, this is our linear scaling right here. And we hit the trend line. Adjusted, it moved on me. Sometimes when you hit save, the trend line moves on you with this program, but I love the charts. The linear scaling from these highs over here, we've hit this trend line, 50 period moving average, that's a green line you see right here, and horizontal support again from the January low over here. Do you see this? Okay, we've come right back up to resistance, and we get rejection there. Again, we got rejection here, we got rejection here, likely building momentum to get a higher low to break through the trend line. This trend line, we've hit it, and on the linear scaling, or on the log scaling, it's even a better trend line because you're hitting this level here, this level, these highs, this high, and our high here. A little bit different on the linear scaling, but the log scaling. Again, I continue to point out that we're back testing the RSI trend line. We formed the bullish divergence here that likely has marked the bottom. We're going back into the support zone right here, in all likelihood to get a Fibonacci retracement for an A, a B, and a C, as I'm talking about in this video. And then I think we're going higher. That could take us, again, to just a little bit lower levels. I'll be talking about that in this video. CD is rolling over at the center line. Again, likely going to confirm a higher low. Now, again, there's still the risk of taking out this low. My guess is we're not going to do that. My guess is that we have a wave 1 and 2 developing here, and Bitcoin's setting up a higher low. I think it's already bottomed. That back over here on March 11th, the day of the bottom, when we were selling out before the rally rebound ever happened, I told you Bitcoin was forming. I was getting bullish signals then, and Bitcoin was forming the divergence at key support. I just undercut this low by just a little bit, $1,500 or so. It couldn't even close below it. I think we're building momentum to break through the trend line, go up to the 100 period. We got to get back above the 100 period in order to turn this around, get back above the cloud of 100 period and clear this resistance zone area now, highlighted here. And that will take us to the next level of resistance up to the 100,000 area, up into this area here. Eventually, I think we're going to clear 109,000. I think we're going to go up to the target levels I've talked. So I think Bitcoin's going to go up 70% to 85% or so, maybe a little bit more. Maybe it goes again above 150,000. But I think you're going to see this big move, and I'm talking about a 70 to 85% from this low right here, not from where we're at right now, but from this low. That's what I've been saying. Tariffs and Bitcoin's just collapsing. You know, it's down 0.67%. It's collapsing. Oh no, people are just so emotional. Now here is the bull flag. Now I have again talked about that we're forming this bull flag into the rising trend line in the weekly time frame. Tried to get above the 200 period. We got rejection at the 50. Again, we're probably going to get a death cross here or get one and have it last for a very short amount of time if we can clear and break out of this trend line, which is what I think is going to happen. We're being told, no way. Bitcoin, there's no way. And again, it's likely building momentum to break out of this trend line. This is our log scaling. Look at this beautiful trend line. This peak here, 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 and now here. And parallel boundary, this low here, this low here. You have a really nice looking channel. Again, a bull flag pattern. Nobody's talking about this. You know, we keep hearing, oh, Bitcoin's got a bear flag. And it really, it formed a rising wedge and not a bear flag. I don't know where people are, what they're smoking, but Bitcoin formed a little rising wedge that is now giving us this pullback. Here's a little rising wedge right here. No, it's a bear flag. And yet they ignore this bigger bull flag that's in place. Again, I think Bitcoin's bottomed out. I think it's going higher. Bitcoin has bounced just above its average moving price right here. And as we go down and test that level and then rebound and take out this low, my guess is that's not going to be the case. My guess is we've already bottomed, as I continue to say. I think we have a wave 1 and a 2. But amazing how, we got a bear flag. They weren't bearish. The people saying all this stuff, they weren't bearish up here, but man, they're sure bearish now. Bitcoin is in this bottoming process. So again, if we can break out, you can get above the 100 period moving average. We dropped below it, we back tested it, and we've been below it ever since. Bitcoin follows the 100 period moving average. You get back above it, that's going to be bullish. So again, I think we're building momentum to do that. You take out Bitcoin's average price and you can't get back above it. You drop below the 74,000 area horizontal support, take out Bitcoin's average price, take out the 50-week. That's extremely bearish. My guess is that we've already bottomed and we're getting a higher low now to get a higher high. And if this is wave 1 and 2, you're going to get this massive push higher for wave 3. So again, this is what I think is going on. Now, again, Bitcoin is bouncing off of this trend line from the 2023 low and the 50-week moving average and Bitcoin's average price and horizontal support. You break these levels, you drop below them, you can't get back above them. That's extremely bearish. You drop below them, you get back above them, that's bullish. You bounce off them as we're doing right now, that's bullish. Coin is likely in a bottoming process, and the bottom is likely already in. We're getting a higher low right now. Bitcoin is not collapsing as we're being told that it was going to happen, and coin is likely bottoming. The tariffs are already priced in to Bitcoin. The tariffs are already priced into the stock market. It is a sell the rumor, buy the news event, as I continue to say. Again, over here we had the trend line begin here from the 2023 low. That's what we're trying to bounce off of. You had a bounce here going sideways off the 50 EMA and the SMA. The 50 is the lighter green line. The SMA is the darker green line. We bounced. We came back up here. We hit the March high, and we came back to these levels again, and we hit the trend line again, and we bounced right there at 49,000 and 52,000. We dropped 33%. We formed a bull flag, and we broke out again. Weekly signals began to turn bullish with that breakout. Daily signals at the bottom, 49,000 and 52,000. We saw signals turn bullish in the daily time frame. Breakout of a bull flag, bouncing off those moving averages. Here we are at the moving averages, trying to bounce. Here we are at the trend line. So again, I think that you have this bull flag right here. I think it's going to take us higher, but then I think Bitcoin's going to top. And again, when we get to the top, the moon boys, the herd, they're not going to see that it's a top. They're going to do what they did in 2021. They're going to tell us these crazy price targets and how Bitcoin's just going to keep rising, 300,000, 500,000, a million. And they're going to all try to outdo each other. What they always do. Bitcoin is likely going to top. I'm bullish now, but Bitcoin is going to rise up 135, 145,000, maybe above 150,000, but then it's going to top once we reach my trend line, wherever that Bitcoin comes into contact with that trend line, which you're going to see in this video. This is trend line from the 2023 low, but if we go back and get the channel from 2022, there's a trend line that I'm watching. You'll see that in this video. The Elliott wave count update in this video as well. Now, my bars right here are turning back to bullish with yesterday's sell-off. We ended up selling off 3%. We had a rally, it failed, and we ended up down 3%, but the bars flipped to green. Okay, and again, sometimes, as I've said, the bars turn a little bit early, giving me a warning that a turn is about to be made. We're going sideways. The bars are going red, green, red, green. But again, we're likely going to set up a higher low, even if we go a little bit lower for my ABC move, which you'll see in this video. Again, over here, we turned a little bit early with the bars first, and then we began to see things turn after that. Sometimes they turn together, but my bars can give me a heads up because I programmed it to be more sensitive to when the turns happen. And it could be marking that we're getting that right now because we're seeing the bullish signal. When the bars turn bullish, we get the bullish signal. That could get us back above the 200 period and break the downward trend line as I've talked about. The video all the way through, and you'll see why I think we're going to set up a higher low on Bitcoin, and I believe that we are in minor wave 2. I think Trump's tariffs are already priced in to Bitcoin, into the stock market, and we're getting the illusion of a crash with the S&P moving down after a nearly 4% rally, as I've said. Bitcoin is pulling back, getting a higher low, and it's going to build momentum to take out this trend line. I think we'll see signals begin to flip back to bullish with Bitcoin. Again, here, bars going back and forth from red to try to turn bullish, back to red. Signal, try to turn bullish, back to red. So again, I think you're in a bottoming process to establish a higher low. And again, I program my ohm indicators. A lot of my ohm, the indicators you see, a lot of my ohm indicators are in my videos, and here I have programmed the bars to be more sensitive to turn, to try to turn when a shift in momentum takes place, could lead to a change in trend. And here again, mark some good points. Here it was a fake out move, and we saw bars quickly turn back, and then they turned back to bullish, and this move ended up failing, and we got this move here ending and turning back to bearish. Now here we have a similar situation. We've seen bars go back to green, but then it's failed. And we saw the line turn back to blue, but then it failed, and now it's back to red. And now bars are back to red. So again, I think we're building momentum to take out this trend line right here. And I think when that happens, we get a higher low. And when that happens, I think you get your wave 3. And I think it's going to be a spectacular rise on Bitcoin that will eventually get us back above 100,000. But when green bars start showing up here, it's going to tell me when the shift is being made from the bullish red bars back to the green bars. It's going to tell me that. And again, we'll likely be on our way to breakout of the trend line when that happens. Watch this video all the way through. If you want to see what's going on, you want to be in the know, showing my Elliott wave count in this video. And we stalled at resistance levels. You got to be able to get back above the ribbon here. Tried to see momentum flip. It failed. Again, we're likely going to set up a higher low, and then it's going to be off to the races. Break out of the bull flag pattern. I don't know why people can't see this bull flag. You know, I keep hearing about this bear flag, and it wasn't a bear flag. It was a bearish rising wedge. I don't know why people cannot see that we have a bull flag. But the herd and they get very bearish at bottoms. That's what happens. I flip everything back to green. And if I just go back here a little bit, like we had over here, going into the highs. And then over here, we had this move to a new high. We got to flip everything back to green to end this and break out. So I think that's coming. I pointed out that some of my indicators are flashing bullish signals. And here we're at the support area. We've started to see some of them turn back to bullish, suggesting that maybe we get a higher low scenario. So again, you have this bull flag. I think you're going to, and here we're going from bullish to bearish bearish to bullish to bearish. I think you're going to end up flipping back to bullish here once we establish our higher low. But my signals, again, some of them are showing bullish shifts, but we've had bars turn back to red and momentum turn back to red. So we're pulling back, in all likelihood, going to establish a higher low. And then once we break out, we got to see the momentum line turn back to bullish right here, turn back to bearish. It was bullish. And again, I talked about all these bottoming signals at the bottom. I told you this could be a bottom right here if we can get above the 20 period. Not seen on this chart. We did not get above the 20 period. I told you if we couldn't, then we can form a divergence. And then we had all these signals. And the very day of the bottom, we had these signals begin to show up, and then confirmation of that the next day. I believe that this divergence on indicators has marked a Bitcoin bottom. I think we're establishing a higher low right now. I did correctly call both of these bottoms. I did I thought a bottom was here, and I told you if it's going to hold, we need to get above the 20 period. We got rejection at it, and then again here, before the rally rebound happened again as we were selling off, I told you on March 11th that we were bottoming, and so far that has been proven correct. So again, I've called that as a bottom. Told you here we might have a bottom. We ended up undercutting this low just a little bit, but couldn't close below it. We dropped below it by about $1,500. And again, here's Bitcoin's average price. Again, I don't think we're moving below that level. That's why I think that you got a bottom here. I think we're establishing a higher low. We could still form a divergence and drop below that level. But again, you lose that level, it's extremely bearish. You bounce here off of it, that's going to be extremely bullish. Please support the channel with the link directly below. That allows me to be able to provide you this information. If you like the charts, you like the indicators, let me know that by supporting the channel today. I don't have sponsors. I don't want to send you to exchanges that want to get you all leveraged up to wipe you out. I just ask that you support the channel. If you like my signals, you like my charts, let me know that. It takes a lot of time and effort to do this. I'm just sharing with you stuff I look at every day. I need to hear from you in order to make it work. So support the channel today. Anything helps. Follow the link below to take you to a secure site and you can donate any amount you want. Watch the video all the way through. You're going to see the Elliott wave count in just a moment. So buckle up and stay tuned. Okay, we had Trump's reciprocal tariffs. They are not as bad as what we were being told was going to happen. And again, they were about half. It's actually pretty smart of them to do it that way because, again, if countries retaliate, then they can slap on more tariffs and raise it to the full amount and, pretty much wake these people up. Again, Trump's tariffs are still lower than other countries' tariffs. All these tariffs supposedly are going to cause all this inflation. Why don't we see hyperinflation in Asia and Europe? They have a lot of tariffs. Canada, why don't we see hyperinflation? It's a myth. Tariffs don't cause inflation. Now, if Trump's tariffs are going to take us into recession, then why are these high tariffs in other countries, why are they not in recession, in permanent recession? Because of their extremely high tariffs, which are higher than Trump's. That's what really irritates me, is that the media continues to tell us how horrible Trump's tariffs are. And I don't like tariffs of any kind. I'm a free trader. I believe in free trade. But if you're going to sit here and tell me how horrible Trump's tariffs are, ooh, they're going to cause a recession, inflation, but yet ignore the high tariffs, even higher tariffs in other countries, you got to leave your brain at the door to believe what the media is trying to tell us. It makes absolutely no sense at all. Now, again, it could have been a whole lot worse. I think that we're forming a bottom. Bitcoin's not moving to a new low. The stock market is. It's following what Bitcoin previously did. Bitcoin is likely setting up a wave 2. Let me show you here on the Elliott wave count. This is the weekly chart. I'll show you up close what's going on right in this area. But I have changed my count to reflect this as intermediate wave 3, intermediate wave 4, and intermediate wave 5. I think it's a better fit. I had it over here, and this whole thing is an extended from intermediate wave 4 here. And I've changed that. I think it's a better fit where we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for intermediate wave 3 and an extended 3. And then a 4, and then we get the 5. I think it fits better, and 5 will be closer to what we've seen over here with wave 1, the intermediate wave 1. So I think and we have that extended wave 3. So I just think it's a better fit. So I have as my count just a little bit. I think we've had this complex correction. I think we've bottomed, and I think, again, we're headed up to this upper channel line, as I continue to say, in a 5-leg push. We're likely now we've now completed the first minor wave. This is minor wave 2, and then we're going to get the extended minor wave 3, 4, and 5. This is what I think is happening. I think this is going to take Bitcoin up to this trend line. I've talked about the 135, 145,000 area. If we get there, maybe in May, April, May, if it drags out on into the summer, June, July, August, or maybe on into early September, you could be up at above 150,000. So again, a number is not my target. A date is not my target. This trend line is my target. And it's a parallel boundary to the lower boundary here. This is where Bitcoin makes beautiful, beautiful channels. Now, we may fall short of it. We fell short of the lower boundary right here of this channel. So we still may fall short of my target, and that's why I'm saying Bitcoin still may just come under the 135,000 or under if we don't quite reach that level. This is you're going to reach this level, and I think you're going to have that complete the blow off top for Bitcoin. Let's take a look at this area right here. Let's blow this up, and I'll show you this. And I do want to say this, the bears, Bitcoin's not moving to a new low. And again, the S&P, it rallied up nearly 4%. Now it's dropping just over 4%, just undercutting the previous low to give the illusion that we're going to crash. Here comes the crash. And again, work everybody up into a tizzy, and we're bottoming. Bitcoin is likely going to get the higher low, as I continue to say. I told you on March 11th, I thought that was the bottom, and so far that is holding. Here's what's really interesting is the S&P 500 is forming what looks to be the very same kind of complex pattern, a WXY with an ABC that we had for Bitcoin when we undercut the previous low. If you watch my stock market video later today, I'll show you that. It's pretty fascinating. Previous count on the S&P was invalidated, and I moved to my alternative count, which was the Bitcoin count. And I'll show you that. Here's what I think is going on. I think you got a 1, 2. I think these are minor waves in this fifth intermediate wave higher. Let me just adjust this. I forgot to put my little circle here for the primary. This is going to complete. This whole thing is going to complete these intermediate wave 3, 4, and 5, complete primary wave 5. The whole thing, the whole move up is one big primary wave 5 in these 5 intermediate waves. And I think we have intermediate wave 4 done here on March 11th. I think you've got the 1, 2. This is a daily chart we're looking at Bitcoin. I think you're getting 2 right now. I think we're going to go a little bit lower for an ABC move, as I've been talking about. And then I think we get 3, 4, and 5. And I think you come up into this, 135, 145,000 area, possibly. And here's some Fibonacci extension levels, possibly up into the 150,000 area if we take our time reaching that trend line that I'm talking about. You're probably going to end up forming a rising wedge or a bearish channel, but I marked it here as a rising wedge pattern. This could take us on to May, possibly June, on to July, over the summer months there. But this is where I think we're headed, and then I think you're going to top, and then I think Bitcoin. And when we get there, when we get up here, again, the herd is going to tell us that we're going to keep going. Just like I want you not to forget the how bearish they are right now, and how afraid they are right now, and how they're telling it the herd is extremely bearish at bottoms, very bullish at tops. Get up there in the Moon Boys and the herd, they're going to be telling us, oh, here we go to 200,000, 300,000, 400,000. They're going to be cheerleading for these targets that are unrealistic when my target's realistic. We're going up to the upper channel resistance, and then Bitcoin's likely going to top there. Because why? Recession is coming. The things that we've sold off on, the negative GDP, and it's gotten even worse now. It's well over, it's like 3.7 or 8% or something like that for the estimate for Q1 of 2025. The recession is coming, but we're likely going to get one final climax rally for the final phase of the blow-off top. I'm saying it. Because Bitcoin takes its time doing what it's going to do, people don't see it. And again, I'm a trader. I look at support and resistance levels. We're at major support. If we take out 74,000, that's extremely bearish. If you take out 74,000, cannot get back above it, then that would be extremely bearish. If you bounce here, it's extremely bullish because Bitcoin's average price is here. The 50-week moving average is here. Horizontal support is here. All the levels of support that I've talked about. That's why I'm so bullish on Bitcoin surrounding the 200-period moving average and Bitcoin's average price. I know if we lose it, that's going to be very bearish. I know if we bounce, it's going to be very, very bullish. Live it, love it, learn it. Now let's look at this on the 4-hour chart, and I'll blow this up even more. Again, just trying to update you on my Elliott wave count. Again, I think that the S&P is doing exactly what Bitcoin did. Again, we had a 3 here. I think it's a WXY complex pattern to complete intermediate wave 4. So intermediate wave 3 and 4 done. This is going to be intermediate wave 5. Let me pull this down so you can see my count up here. Intermediate wave 5 up here. I think it will be marked My 5 minor waves, I marked that in blue right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. And then I think we hit my trend line. And again, a possible rising wedge could develop if we go at an angle into May or June or July or something like that. Here, again, if we rally up into late May, early June here, you're looking at maybe 152, 153,000 or so right in there, depending on when we come in contact with my trend line. Again, if we hit it immediately, it'll be lower. If we hit it in late May or I'm sorry, early May or mid May, it's going to be lower. If we go into late May or on into June or maybe on into the summer, then it's going to be higher, depending on when we come into contact with this trend line. But that's where I believe that we're going, and I think it's going to unfold in a 5-leg push higher with my Elliott wave count. Let's look at this up close now, again, with the wave 3 to wave 4 being complete. Let's look at the beginning now of our 5 minor waves higher. Let me bring in that close so you can see it. You know, we've had Trump's reciprocal tariffs. Could have been worse. They came in half, and Bitcoin's collapsing. It's down 0.65%. Wow. S&P got a nearly 4% rally, and it's down. You know, it's dropped just over 4%. Again, to give the illusion that we're about to crash. But the S&P is kind of doing what Bitcoin did back over here at these lows, where we got a low and then it got a lower low surrounding the 200 period moving average. I've continued to say I believe that we have a leading diagonal. I've talked about this in several videos, and I believe that we have a leading diagonal here in that we have just adjust this and move it. I moved it closer, so it moved my my count here. I think we've got a 1, a 2, and there can be overlaps. It's in a series of 3s. That's what a leading diagonal is. But I think you have a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4. So there is an overlap between 4 and 1, and then 5. And then I think you've got this as minor wave 1. I think you're getting this A, B, and then now we're getting C. And I think you're going to come down here to the 78.6 Fibonacci, probably around 79,000 or so. And then I think Bitcoin's going to bottom out. Could be that we don't reach that. Maybe, you know, the golden pocket is between 79,000 and just under 81,000, which again we're just above that level right now, just above, you know, right at that 81,000. This 61.8 Fibonacci, 81,000. I'm sorry, 80,970. So just above that 81,000 area right now at the moment as I'm making the video. I think we're probably going to move into the golden pocket here, complete an ABC, and then I think we're going to begin the dramatic move higher for the third wave. If I just zoom out here just a little bit, you can see again, if we complete the ABC move here, I think you're going to get a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 for minor wave 3, and I think that's going to take Bitcoin significantly higher. I think you're about to get a spectacular rise. But my targets are realistic, okay? I look at support and resistance. Right now, we're bouncing off major support. And that's why I'm so bullish. The herd is extremely bearish. They love to sell bottoms and buy tops. Trader. The tops in December, the very day of the top in December and January, on January 20th, the herd was bullish. So there was no way Bitcoin was going down. Now they're very bearish. But that's what they do. We've had a 30% drop, and that's what they do. This is what I think is going to happen. I think we're going to bottom out here, and I don't think Bitcoin's moving to new lows. I continue to say when I told you we had a possible bottom here, we had to get above on our first low right here below the 200. This is a 4-hour chart, so you're not seeing that. The 200 in the daily time frame. I told you, again, we might have a bottom, but you got to get back above the 20-period moving average in the daily time frame. We got rejection at the 20-period, and I told you if we did that, there's risk of a divergence. So now we have the divergence, and when we hit this low, I said, just undercut this low. We couldn't even close below it, and as we came down here, I said another bottom is form the bullish divergences in the daily time frame and on the 4-hour chart, which we've talked about at great length and detail. So this is what I think is happening. Wanted to show you my Elliott wave count and update. Again, well, everybody's panicking. I think Bitcoin's bottoming. Again, I think there's a great opportunity that presented itself over here and likely over here. Institutions are going to, you know, BlackRock and Fidelity and Strategy. Cathie Wood is buying up Bitcoin down at these levels. We know whales are placing some big bets here all the while the herd is panicking and freaking out, be people that are selling the bottom in fear. Oh, we're about to crash. Oh no, here comes the crash. Ah! And what does Bitcoin do? It bottoms. I think we're going higher. But look, when we go up to my trend line, I'm going to be selling into the rally. This is the opportunity for me to accumulate the position down here over at these lows, which I've talked about at great length of detail. This was the opportunity over here. And I'm going to, when we go higher, I'm going to sell into the rally and flip the trade and go back to bearish. I'm a trader. I really don't care if Bitcoin goes up or down. I trade it both ways. It goes, sometimes I'm bullish, sometimes I'm bearish. I'm bullish. The January top and the December top, I was bearish. Major trend line here. That's why I'm bullish. We hit it at this low over here, which I talked about at the time. We hit a trend line in the weekly time frame at the December and January top. That's why I was so bearish at that time. I remain bullish on Bitcoin. I think it's not going to move to a new low, and I think the freak out, the tariffs is overblown. Now the focus is going to be on tax cuts, as I've continued to say. If we get even if Trump doesn't pause some of the tariffs, you can get a rally of hope on the hopes of negotiations. You going to be making concessions. We see it in Asia, Canada, and Mexico are missing from the list. Why? So the trade agreement that they've already had, and remember Trump walking back those tariffs. Said, well, if it's covered under the previous trade agreement, then doesn't apply. And again, we're likely going to get a rally of hope, and we're likely going to begin to see hope surrounding the tax cuts. But again, I'm telling you, a top is coming, recession is coming. I do believe Bitcoin's going to go make a new all-time high. I have been attacked for daring to say that we are bottoming, for daring to say that we're going to go make new all-time highs. Okay, here's Liberation Day. Here's your tariff Liberation Day of Trump's tariff Liberation Day. We're not crashing, okay? We're in a bottoming process. So there's my Elliott wave count update for you.